Well, so, hello and hi, I'm the Space Quest Historian, and welcome to Star Trek The Next Generation of Final Unity, which I am, well, I was going to say playing with, that's not entirely true, but I am joined by Mr. Joe Mastroianni of the Upper Memory Block podcast. Hi, Joe.
Hello. How are you?
I am very, very well, sir. And you just did a podcast episode on this game. Is that not correct?
I absolutely did, which I guess is what sort of triggered this whole endeavor on your part.
Yes, triggered, as in, my own mind held a metaphorical gun to my head and said, I have to play this game now.
We have the vessel.
That's a weird sentence.
They are driving their engines.
Anyway, well, one of the reasons why I wanted to replay it was that I saw you were doing it for your podcast, and also because it's a game that I've played since I was a teenager. My brother actually got it on CD-ROM, and we got it running back in the DOS days, which was a little bit tricky. I don't know, you had some problems getting it to run as well, didn't you?
I did. Well, I had problems getting it to run on my out of DOS box. A little bit funky, but yeah, this game was sort of a beast back in the day. It had some pretty high system requirements, especially for an adventure game.
Yeah, it was mad. It's like it's Super VGA graphics, it's 256 colors, but it requires a 486DX 66 megahertz with a math code processor and all that jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably because of that funky space combat thing, which we'll see in a minute.
Also
yes, we certainly will, and I will certainly have some words about it.
Me too.
You are violating Federation
Anyway,
space.
I remember seeing this intro before the game was released. They did this like rolling demo intro. It was on a couple of magazine cover CDs, and it was slightly different. For one, the sound mixing was a little different, and also it was a Romulan warbird decloaking directly ahead instead of Garidian.
Garidian.
Yeah, so either they were just fucking with us. By the way, you can swear. You can swear here.
Well, fuck me.
And either they were fucking with our expectations or something else. But when the game finally came out and it was just warbird decloaking, the warbird is also Garidian. I was like, what? Wait, that looks like a Romulan warbird. What the fuck is going on?
And the Garidians look suspiciously like Romulans as well.
Final
Yes.
frontier.
They are on friendly terms
These are the
and may
voyages
share
of
technology.
Starship Enterprise.
They may, Captain.
Its continuing
Were they,
mission to
were
explore
the
strange
Garidians
new
ever in
worlds,
the TNG series? I forget. Or is it a
to seek
race they
out
made
new
up for the
life
game?
and new
I'm
civilizations.
pretty sure it's a totally made up for the
Bold
game
they go,
race.
and no one has
I don't remember any episodes, and I actually pretty recently rewatched TNG, like within the last year, so I'd remember.
Okay, because I'm starting out. I watched the first 4 episodes of season 1 for the first time in over a decade, actually. And
How'd that go for you?
it's a bit, yeah. Well, if it wasn't for the podcast that your friend linked me to, what's the name of it again? The Best Generation.
Oh yeah, or the Greatest Generation?
Yeah, the
Something
Greatest.
like that. Yeah.
If it wasn't for that podcast, I would just be skipping most of season 1. But now that they cover all the episodes of every season, so now I have to watch even the bad ones.
Right.
Oh, in your podcast, you said that this was a meaty rendition of it, and I suppose
Maybe it's not. Yeah, I might be wrong about that. Please correct me if I am.
I think you're right. I think they did it in a meaty version
Captain's
and
log
then
supplemental.
just
A Garidian
recorded
warbird has
recorded the
violated
MIDI and
neutral
pretended it
zone
was a
in
full
pursuit of a
orchestra
scout
thing.
ship.
Which
The
I thought was
fugitives may be
very
seeking
weird,
political
and
asylum,
I don't know if
but
that's
as
how the
yet
rest
we
of the
have been
game works,
unable to
because I think I
confirm
mentioned
their
it in the
intentions.
podcast as well. So basically, the main issue I had getting this game running in
What do you think, number
DOSBox was
The Garidians
I, of course,
respect
wanted to use
strength. We show any
Sound
sign of
Blaster
weakness,
16 /
might just
AWE32.
fight.
And I tried doing
What do you
that,
suggest?
and every time
Maybe
I
we
would
can use our
load the
phasers until they listen
game,
to
it would
reason.
get to that splash screen that we had right at the beginning,
Yeah.
and once it popped into the intro, I can't remember if it was either I
That
could watch
may
the
be
intro
too
and then
strong
once
an
it jumped into the game,
Mr.
or just
Walton,
into the
lock
intro,
phasers
as soon as it
onto the warbird
initialized
and
some
hold your
part
fire.
of the sound driver, the
Aye,
game
sir.
would just crash.
They are lying
Yeah,
their
I remember
disruptors on
my
us.
brother and I had the same problem back in the day, back in DOS. There is a faulty driver in the game.
So that has nothing to do with DOSBox in particular, because I don't remember having that problem when I played the game originally.
By the way, one of the reasons why I started this playthrough was also to show you how to get out of this fight without having to actually fight her. And the first thing I do when I play the game, you know, got OBS running and everything, is of course to fuck up and get in the fight. So you'll see my mouse just panicking, just rolling around the screen, going, how do I get out of this? Oh shit, I don't have to.
The ships also seemed like they were like having seizures for some reason.
Yes, I love the little jiggly dances they do.
The Garidian ship has been destroyed.
Somehow, see, now we just load our save game. Fuck it, let's start over.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that was the other problem I had in my original playthrough, because
Data, do you have any suggestions?
something weird happened with my install, and the save game folder didn't get created.
Yeah,
And so
that's
I
weird.
couldn't actually save the game, so I actually, in my short YouTube playthrough, where I just basically get through the
We will have
first
to drop our
mission in a
shields
bit,
to use the
I actually, there's actually a part where I dump back out into
We'll have to
Windows,
take that
create a
risk.
save game folder,
Make it
and then
so.
I'm actually able to save the game.
Yeah, that's weird. And you know, the game had a lot of quirks, but it was also one of those. You can tell by the end of the game, they're just really just okay. Let's get this shit done.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this game shipped like 2 years late.
Yeah.
So yeah, this game was supposed to come out shortly after 25th anniversary,
Captain,
Yeah,
the
which
warlord
came out
is
in like
TOS.
'92. Yeah, so it was supposed to come out in '93, and
screen.
it came out in
Federation
'95.
starship. This is an internal Garidian matter.
And some of the
You've been
graphics
warned
are a
not to
bit iffy. I
interfere.
remember you saying the bridge shot looked a bit stilted, and some of the character
Your
portraits,
presence here
like the
gives
one we're
me
seeing
every
right now.
right to
I mean, she
interfere.
looks
Why
severe.
have you
She looks like you
violated
don't
Right.
want to fuck with her, but it also
They're
looks very
locking their
sort of
disruptors on us.
cartoony.
Captain,
Yeah, she's very like
dangerous criminals.
CGI, you know, like very.
And
She's very
Mars,
mid
transfer
'90s
them
computer
to my
graphics, where then you
custody
flip back to
immediately.
Picard, and he's like this kind of almost hand drawn kind of sprite, you know. So it's kind of. And yeah, I think like we'll flip back to the bridge, I'm sure, as soon as you decide what intelligent thing to say.
Yeah. So I was really weighing my words here because I didn't want to screw this one up. But
This
yes.
one's it's hard. I find
You
it's
have
really
won this
hard
time,
to get through
Captain,
this one without
but I
dumping into the
promise you,
fight.
There will
Apparently,
be a
you just
next
have
time.
to be
The warbird
polite
is
to
heading
her
back
and then
toward
tell her, by the
Garidian
way,
space.
you're not actually
They're
supposed to be
activating
here.
their cloaking
You
device.
should fuck off back to where you came from,
Our new
please.
arrivals
Right.
request
See,
you
my
to
problem is
speak
I
with
listen to
you.
Worf, and he's like,
Their
the
names are
the
Lucana,
Garidians
Alakar,
respect strength. So I'm like, oh,
Tacoma.
okay, well, I'll just tell him to fuck off, and then you
What
fuck.
are your orders, Captain?
Yeah, don't ask Riker or Worf because they're just
should
like,
like
yeah,
to
let's
consider the
get into a
situation
fight.
a bit
Data's just sitting
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's
So that's. Yeah, so that's what I'm sort of talking about with this bridge scene. So you see, like, Riker's kind of like leaning in a very awkward manner the entire game. Data's legs look weird. I don't know, like
and
Picard's
Worf
standing in
is-
a very unergonomic manner. I'm like,
Picard looks like he's just about to leave for something, but he's just being distracted by the view screen.
Trying to kill you.
and he's also conspicuously standing right in front of the helm station, so they didn't have to draw a fill-in helmsman.
Yes.
What is this
Which
fifth
should be
scroll
just
you mentioned?
I don't recall in the 7th season, was it just some sort of red shirty type person, or
Why
was
you
there
so
a...
Yeah,
interested
once
in this
Wesley
fifth
left, it was
scroll?
just sort of just a fill-in. You know, one episode or another, they might have said something, or they might get killed, but it was never anyone of any. I guess Ensign Rowe, I think, filled in for a while.
Oh yeah.
I
I mean, it was a good plan because then they always had someone on the bridge that they could off, and you know, when
Right,
something
exactly.
suspenseful happens.
Exactly, there could be a panel can explode, and it would either be the helmsman or one of the random people standing at the back panels there behind
Yeah.
Worf.
Yeah, this is a slow day on the Starship Enterprise, by the way. They're just standing around. You know.
Yeah, it's like da-da-da, stuff's happening. Well, they're on I guess when the game starts, they're on just kind of one of those like routine patrols along the neutral zone.
Yeah,
Sort of just wasting burning warp hours.
I'm just imagining them flying around in this massive circle, just going, yep,
Very well.
nothing here
You
either.
may stay on board the
Oh,
Enterprise
and
until we
speaking
have
of
sorted
flying
this
around
matter
in
out.
massive circles, I've cut out most of the actual, warping to some place.
Why do you say
bits.
that?
Where you stare at the screen and watch the thing tick down.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Why is that even in there? You gotta wonder about some of the decisions they made. in this game.
So I'm more than
are the
certain. So doing a little bit of background. It's actually hard to find information about this game.
Yes.
But what information I did find, they really bit off more than they could chew with this. Like they wanted to make the biggest game they've ever made, and Spectrum Holobyte is not a company that you think of when you think of adventure games.
No.
Like these are the Falcon guys, and they're sims, like vehicle sims, flight sims, and they have a couple of adventure games that came before this, but they're very minor in their library.
Yeah, I can't even think of any.
I had to look it up on Wikipedia, and I hadn't heard of them, and I think most of them are red linked in Wikipedia, so no one's actually even written anything about them.
Right.
So yeah, they really, I'm sure, because they advertised, there's this entire this game takes place in the Kridnar navigation block, which I've never heard of outside of this game either. But it models something to the effect of 3,000 stars and 15,000 planets that you could visit in this game.
Yeah, you can go to all of them. You can set course for any of them and fly all the way over there and do nothing.
In real time, no less.
In real time, yes.
And yeah, there's nothing there. So I suspect that they probably were planning on doing like a Starflight style, like either a resource gathering or a mapping kind of sub mini game.
Maybe have some side quests like Fallout style. You could just run off and get into some situation that's completely optional to the main story.
Yeah, and that would be cool, but I think even in the scope of 3,000 stars, that would be very difficult to just unless it was just kind of a random timer, like you'd show up somewhere and it would say, oh, well, it's been long enough, you can do a side quest.
Yeah.
But they clearly ran out of time, so yeah. I mean, the same thing happened to an extent in the Interplay original series games, where you could go anywhere and you would just get into a fight with some, Romulan or Klingon. So if you just wanted to play the game and do the ship combat, which was decidedly better, I think, in those games, you could just go wherever you wanted, and if you didn't have the star map, that's pretty much all you could do, because you didn't know where to go unless you got lucky.
All right, so you just get into random fights. Now, in this game, getting into a fight is something you really, really want to avoid, and of course, by the end of the game, it just throws random fights, random encounters at you, which is probably why they have this this distance meter ticking down, because you're just sitting there biting your nails going, please don't get in a fight, please don't get in. Fuck! I got in a fight.
It's random encounters like frickin' Final Fantasy. I'm walking through grass. Oh my god, there's a blob.
Yes, exactly. But instead, in this game, it's one of the either the Romulans pick a fight with you, or this. Oh, we can spoil this. The Chodak race.
The Chodak,
which I suspect Spectrum Holobyte were very, very enamored with, because it shows up in every Star Trek game they made since. Final Unity, sorry. Just blank completely on the name.
Whatever the hell the name of this game is.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I believe every time they show up, they're different.
Yeah. Well, they mutate a lot. I mean, they're just these little amorphous, zygotes swimming around.
We'll let you know when we arrive.
So anyway, what we're doing now, do you want to recap what the hell we're actually doing now? Because they just had a long-ass conversation.
Yeah, so basically there's these Garidian refugees, they're rebels, and they believe that there's this thing out there called the Fifth Scroll that will make the political situation between the ruling caste and the servant castes and all that on their planet better. And they
got
into
a bit of a trouble. Yeah, and the the person on the starship that we got into a fight with accidentally is actually the mother of one of the refugees. So,
yes,
if you blow her out of the sky, then his attitude kind of becomes a little, why'd you have to kill her? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Yeah. Oh, and the reason why this conversation shows up at this screen right now is because they set course for this Vulcan archaeologist, Warp 5.
This is Captain Jean
and I've always gone, why only Warp 5? Why not just go as fast as you can?
So
all the time, yeah.
Every time they set a course for something, I just go into the astrogation thing and just set, max out the warp and just
station has been
off you go.
attacked by an unknown vessel.
Yeah, exactly. So we were going to go and seek out this Vulcan guy, but we got an emergency distress call because this is Star Trek.
Yes, from the I don't know, Jamaican outpost number 5 or something.
The balding Rastafarian man.
Yes.
doubt the Romulans
and apparently they are into some weird
Federation
shit
territory. The
on this
risks are too
orbital
great.
station. So,
Captain, you must hurry.
and sadly,
The
it's not
attack
a
has
cure for weird
destabilized
hair
the
or
station's
baldness.
experimental power
No, it's
core.
not. It's
we
stuff.
don't know how
but we'll
long
see.
we
But
have
yeah,
until
I
core
actually like this
but
mission.
I can tell you the
Yeah, this
resulting
mission is the one that
energy
felt
release
the
and radiation
most
would be
Star Trek,
catastrophic.
like episode
What about
Star Trekky
survivors?
to me, and it's
Get off the
almost
station.
kind of sad that it's
We
over
detected
very
several
soon.
escape
Actually,
pods, but we haven't
now
recovered them
I'll
yet.
point it out when we get to it,
Pods
but
we
it
detected
actually
hold
starts
only a
looking a
few
bit
dozen.
like the original
There are
series at one
hundreds
point.
aboard the
When you meet
station,
the chief
including
engineer aboard the
families.
station.
Set
Oh,
course
that's
for
Right.
Simcoe
almost
4.
went kind of
I hope
TOS
it's
on
not
me.
too late.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah,
I
I
hope
guess
you
yeah.
arrive in
We'll
time.
see it when we get
We'll
there.
do our best.
Yeah.
Picard out.
So this,
Dr.
so
Crusher.
yeah, I guess now they're gonna head over there,
Doctor,
and
we may
what
shortly be
one
taking on a
one
large
credit
number of
I definitely.
wounded,
I mean, there's a lot of
possibly
credits to give to this game. You know, I sort of complain
Not enough,
about
I'm afraid.
the issues
Picard
with
out.
it, but
Miss
you know
LaForge?
the
We're
CGI
en
kind
route
of
to Merton's
cutscenes
orbital
are
station.
really well done.
They've been attacked,
Yeah,
and they're going
and
to
they
need
run
immediate
in a
assistance.
fantastic
See
number
what
of
you can find
colors,
out about
and
that
sadly they were only
experimental
rendered at
power
320 by 200, and then the game upscales them, so they're kind of blurry. But they run in high color
core.
or true
I suggest you
color, I
work
think.
quickly. Millions
Yeah,
of lives
both.
on the
In fact,
planet's
so
surface may
32,000
be at stake. I expect
whatever
a
and
full analysis of the
65,000
situation and our
whatever.
actions
If
as
you
soon
know,
as
if
we're
you had the
within sensor range.
I'd figure you'd probably have to have a Pentium, you know,
Engage.
133 or something to do that.
Look at this! Look at this shit! We're distress call. We have to get there fast. Warp 7. Why?
Warp 7.
Fuck that. Warp 9.9.
9.9. Oh, 9.4. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
it automatically reduces the warp speed. Major Barrett comes up and chastises you for trying to push the engines into exploding. And now
And
we
it's
can
funny. I
just-
think it's still at warp 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, like this is as
Long.
good. I think
We have
even
arrived at the
possibly better,
Simcoe
aside from
system in
resolution
response to a
effects than there were in the
distress
show.
call regarding
Yeah,
Merton's
definitely.
orbital
I mean, they
station.
really did all
The
they could.
station was
And,
apparently attacked by
you know,
unknown
with the
forces,
characters on screen, you know, they
leaving
did
it in
3D
danger
models of the
of
characters.
power
We saw that in the intro. It kind of looks a little weird, but they
Yeah.
were really good for the
We're
time.
within sensor range of the Merton.
Yeah, I remember. I was like,
station,
wow,
sir.
crap. The whole
On
game's
screen.
gonna be like this. Nope, it's not.
Miss LaForge?
Well, close. And this is
Report.
this is
What
one
is
of
the
those
condition of the station?
this is one of those portions of the game where the game just kind of stops, and then there's this awful long dialogue sequence of the characters just figuring out on their own what to do, and you really have no input in. First of all, now they're just figuring out what the hell the station is.
Right.
I've been in
Yeah, that's a
contact
great
with
line.
Starfleet
I've been in
headquarters.
contact with Starfleet
Power
headquarters.
generation is only
When
part of
I
what
was,
the station
We were staring at you the whole
years.
time. You were just standing there.
yeah, we were with you all this. But anyway, and now they just figure out what to do,
Romulans
and
discovered
you know,
this.
because they
They
can't
might
beam
have
in
risked
because
a raid.
of this, you
The
know,
Symphonians
fluctuation
did
from
not
the power
detect
grid
the
or
attacking
whatever.
ship.
And
It may
you
have
do
been
nothing.
close.
You just sit there and wait for data
Speculation,
to
Mr.
have a
Wolf.
solution.
We have no proof the Romulans.
gonna come
I
up
mean,
with-
in a way, it's you know, it's emulating a next generation episode. It would be cool if there was a way you could sort of
What do you mean
contribute.
sliced off?
Yeah,
There's
I guess there is.
insufficient debris in the area to
Not really,
indicate
and I
that the
think
missing
maybe.
section
I mean,
was
there's
destroyed.
already a
It
lot
is
of
possible
paths
the attacker
through this
simply
game. There's a
removed
lot of
it.
ways that this game branches
Could
out.
that
So
be
I
what
was,
destabilized
I was,
the power core?
yeah. They might have had the original idea that you were supposed to be able to pick different options for just about anything you could do in the game, but they just cover this with dialogue.
What will happen if the
Yeah,
containment
and
field
this is
fails?
sort of like
I can't say for certain.
the crappiest part of Next Generation, where you know there's some really
Is there any way to
uninteresting
shut down the
episodes
core?
throughout the series where it's just really a lot of the crew standing on the bridge talking to each other.
I'd say that
saying- and
qualifies as an
yeah, so it's
emergency.
just that
Why
this
would
sort of
you
reminds
avoid
me
it?
of that, and I wish I didn't necessarily have to be reminded of poor episodes of TNG.
That means there's someone.
And now
still
they've
alive
just gotten up to the part where they're now
Data, are you
scanning for
picking up
life
any
signs,
life
which
signs?
would probably be the first thing you do when you got there, but yeah.
I cannot tell if any of the crew are still
Because I think the
alive.
guy
However,
that called him
life
the
support is still
Jamaican guy,
functioning.
he was on the planet. So I think the
That it may
danger
fail
here
at any time.
is yes, there's people on the
Dr.
station, but if the station were to explode, it would
Merton's station. Are
basically
you prepared for
destroy,
casualties?
have a very deleterious effect on the planet.
Good word. Yeah, everything would just
Yes.
go big old kaboomy. No one wants a big old
Understood.
kaboomy.
What is your recommendation?
We
So
can't
let's see
do
what-
anything from here.
We have
Get in
to.
the
Yeah, here it
Western
comes.
Core.
We have to find a way
We have
through
to
those
find a way
shields.
through those shields.
Boom.
I believe I have a solution.
All it did was just.
Done.
The station's upper
Oh,
shields
thank
are
you,
badly
Data.
damaged.
Didn't even have
If
to
we establish
prompt
a
you
lock
or
on a transporter on
talk
the
to you or
upper
anything.
decks,
You just
Yeah, see, there it would have been
Could
interesting, even at the
penetrate
very
the
least,
shields.
to have
Once we're
like
in,
to have
we'll
you
be able
click
to
on a
jettison
few
the power
people.
core.
Yeah.
Even if
Lower
the
the
only
station
solution was
shields,
Data's,
evacuate
and you know
the
maybe
wounded.
Jordy would suggest
Very well, number
something,
one.
and then
Make it so.
You'd talk to
Jordy, I
Data,
want you
and
and
then
the
Jordy
rest
would
of
go,
the
"Oh
UA
no,
team
that's a
ready to
much
go in
better
20
idea."
minutes.
At least there would be some interaction there.
That would have been cool. It would also have been cool if you could somehow fuck it up and you just go, okay, we'll do this thing. We'll like set
everyone
phasers too
dies.
low and try to sever the power core or something and see it floating off into space and accidentally you blow up the entire station and you have to run back to Starfleet and go, sorry, we blew everything up.
And what are you playing on the easy mode or?
Good question. See, here at the start, I'm playing on ensign mode, and that was actually not my intention. I wanted to play on captain mode because I get to pick which characters I want to take on a away mission, and ooh, look at him go!
See, so this is the thing. I played through this entire mission without remembering that you could push shift to make everyone walk at ridiculous warp speed. Which is equally silly, but aside from that, but if you don't do that, they walk very slowly, and you see, what that last scene. A lot of the backgrounds are very big and expansive, and they take a very long time to cross. So, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating at times. And then when you hit shift, they
just
real
speed
fast.
all over the place. Yeah. And this also this part. I mean, you can this is where the pathing comes in. You can choose to not rescue her, or you can try and blow up the cable that's lying on top of her and accidentally vaporize her.
Oops.
Which just means that there's actually a little bit in this section that I forgot to do, which is that. Well, I'll point it out when we get to it. But anyway, that's the puzzle she's supposed to be able to help you solve. So I rescue her, and then I don't complete the actual puzzle that she's in there to do. But I get full marks from Starfleet when we're done anyway, so screw it.
No, there you go. No one important died. So, and honestly, the UI in this game isn't awful, but it isn't great. I'd say, even for this part.
Right. There's a couple of weird things about it. For instance, that way the inventory, the scroll wheels are in the middle. And I always get confused because when you click right and left, then they sort of jump places.
Yeah, everything moves.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I'd almost rather have it that maybe it would be fine the way it is, but those first 3 spaces would be like your quick bar. So you'd have kind of things locked there, like your phaser and your tricorder. Maybe the things that are there, and then everything else would be kind of scrolled.
Oh wow, that would actually be awesome. You should have designed the UI for this thing.
Damn right. Except I was like, I don't know, 13 or something.
Later there was a whole
well, you could have done it. I mean. And I remember seeing screenshots of this thing, during development when I was just a wee lad. So let's see, 95. I was 15 when this came out, so I must have seen screenshots when I was about 14 or 13 maybe. And the UI down there looked vastly different as well. Sadly, I didn't save any of these magazines that I saw the screenshots in. So I can't remember what the actual difference was, but I do remember the inventory was very different, and I don't even think the character portraits were there. I don't know.
They plugged the biggest research station in the
Like it's almost like they were going for kind of a LucasArtsy UI, but didn't quite make it.
They
tried. The one thing that struck me very, very late in playing the game was that you can actually click the Starfleet icon that's between the walk and talk icons and the inventory. That actually contacts the ship. I didn't know that. I thought it was
it's your communicator. Yeah.
It's my communicator. Yeah, I thought it was just there for decoration, but no, you can actually click that thing and talk to the Enterprise. Although it usually doesn't work because there's interference. They're out of range.
Or some crap.
But when you move the mouse over it, it just displays the normal arrow that you're seeing, the black arrow thing there.
So yeah, it doesn't sort of indicate that it's a hotspot. Ooh, hello, what's this?
Ooh. Now this is
again, this is a very cool background.
Yeah, it is.
They went out. They put a lot of effort into this.
So let's, like a good Starfleet officer, we'll scan it with the tricorder and say it's naturally occurring interplanetary debris. Fuck, tricorder.
That seems inaccurate. Yeah.
It's been sniffing tricorder drugs again.
Wait a minute.
And they did well here. Like that close up of the tricorder is like that's right.
Now all I can
Yeah.
pick up are
you open. I have like that
sending false readings to
TNG
our
technical
tricorder.
manual. You open
It's
it
like
up,
a
and that's what the
chameleon.
tricorder
It
looks like.
disguises
Like
itself
all the
perfectly.
licensed sort
If we
of
weren't here to see it, we'd never know it was here.
stuff
They
is
could probably
really
fool our
really
ship
good.
sensors just as easily.
I should probably mention to the people viewing this, one or two of them, is that Joe is kind of an expert on Star Trekky things, which is good to have on hand because then I can field all of these questions like, did this race actually exist before this game came out and such? And Joe will know.
Yes, I am a huge nerd.
I just put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm
all
a
right. And a
big
powerful
Star Trek
energy
fan. I
source.
have been all my life.
I've never
and
seen that
I
much
like
power in
Star
such a
Trek, and I
small
like
package
reading
before.
books, and so I have a lot of those. Over the years, I've read the technical manuals and the book that has all the different races in it, and the old technical manual that has like uniform patterns in it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And,
All the little pips on the uniforms with the what designates a captain and a lieutenant and a sub-lieutenant and all that jazz. Okay, now.
so this is funny. You see, Jordy picked up like about 1 million things.
Yeah.
Reviews I read of this game while I was doing research were like, well, there aren't that many inventory puzzles. This is like the biggest inventory puzzle in the whole freaking thing.
Yeah. And what we just did, and the first time I played this game, I had no idea what I just did. But apparently, that thing was sucking out energy from the power grid. We were down in engineering, and it was sucking out energy from the power grid. So we just went in and shut off the valve that it was sucking energy from, and then it just got insulted and just went, "Fuck it, I'm out."
It's like, hey,
Hey, what'd you do that for?
Did you pick that up?
We have detected
I like that. Did you pick that up? Did you pick up the thing that flew out of the station right by the ship?
And I like that it identifies as a small asteroid, and in just a second, it'll accelerate to warp speed. That is one hell of an asteroid.
That asteroid
best
is a
asteroid in the
sophisticated
world.
device.
Yeah,
It's using a chameleon field to send false readings to the sensors.
like Paul Atreides on top of the worm, just claw some hooks in and just go whee.
I'd like to chase it down, but the station isn't stable yet. See how long
See,
you
so I
can
guess in
track it.
theory now you could have just left, right?
Yes, you could. I could have just left. And the thing that let's see if I actually cut it out of the video. I think I might have. There's another location on the station where you can reactivate life support. Apparently, life support is failing, and if you don't complete the mission within a certain time, then you just flat out die as well. Or I think Enterprise might rescue you or something. But anyway, Shit, sorry, wrong. Anyway, the trapped woman under the cable tells you a security code that you can key into this computer, and then that reestablishes life support. I don't know what that's all about because, they're breathing, they're standing, they look all right, they look fine to me.
It might just be that there's, you're using the oxygen that's left in the system. Or something. So they're not like creating new atmosphere or whatever.
Nah. They're just breathing in Geordie's farts at this point.
Right. So is this the sort of crotchety TOS guy that you're talking about?
Yeah, that was exactly it. I mean, this dude is manually doing some adjustment because they got a black hole that's about to blow everything up, and he strikes me as a kind of a TOS guy.
Gravity wave power source.
Yeah, no, that makes
But how
sense to
can you
me.
generate gravity waves of this
But not
magnitude?
that that's a bad thing at all. But again, we're getting now we get into some serious nerd talk. And of course, Geordie and this dude are gonna hash out what they should do. But as a 15-year-old kid, whose first language is not English, I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
You're
And
like,
Back in phase
yeah, and it wasn't until like years later I went, oh, okay, so English-speaking people don't know what the fuck they're talking about either.
Yeah, that's technobabble.
Yeah.
You see, the only reason the field's held up
And actually, I know what they
because
always
I've been
read,
here
or
manually
when
compensating
the
for
writers were
fluctuations.
writing the scripts.
Yeah.
When they came down to
Sounds
this
like
stuff,
you
they
could
would
use
just
an extra
open
pair of
square
hands.
brackets and write
Listen,
tech,
I'll handle
Yeah,
the conduit,
exactly.
and
I
then
would-
just keep writing.
I'll keep the
And then it was up to
conduit
people
as long
like
as I can.
Michael
I see
Okuda
you already
and
have a
whatever
phase inverter and a wave reduction
to fill in all the
converter.
sciencey
Good.
stuff, whether it
You'll
was
need
true or true science
Phase
or
inverter. But that'll just make the
incorrect
fluctuations
science or
reverse.
science that didn't exist yet.
Unless
And I just want to see
if we use the wave
LaForge's
reduction
actor,
converter to
I forget
dampen
the
them,
name
the
already.
reversal will actually work in our
LeVar
favor.
Burton.
LeVar Burton, exactly. I just want to
Yeah.
see him in the recording booth, sitting down with the script going, it's good to
Ah.
be back.
Yep.
Because
Because I guess they must have done. So this game came out after. It was supposed to come out during the run of the show,
on
but
my
it came
way.
out after the end of the show, the year after. So they were either in the process of filming Generations, or Generations had come out, because the show ended in '94. The game came out in '95. So I'm not sure when they would have done all the voiceover stuff,
Enterprise.
but they would have definitely been done
We've
kind of
stabilized
filming
the
the
power
show
core.
at
The
this
outer
point.
shield should
During
be lower
lunch,
now.
probably.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. There's 15,000 lines of dialogue in this game.
That means we're done
There was a
here.
long lunch
Clean this
break,
up.
very long.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you see all the inventory items we picked up, the millions of items. We used
We
two
are
of them.
being hailed, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
It is Chancellor
And the funny, or not the funny thing, but that
Captain
TOS
Picard,
engineer
you
dude
have my
told us to use
warmest
2
thanks.
items,
We had really
and
given
he
up
called
hope.
them something, but in the
dreams of
game's
being able to
inventory
help.
they're called
Have
something
you recovered
else.
all the
So you
parts?
just sit there and
Right.
go,
My
oh,
staff
how am I
tells me
supposed
all
to
the
know what the fuck
evacuees
this
are
is?
safe and sound.
Thankfully, Jordy
And our
won't plug in the
compliments to
wrong
medical
thing and
staff.
accidentally blow
Our
something up.
surgeons were quite impressed with Dr.
Which I
Crusher's
guess
handiwork.
is good
I'll pass
because
that along. The last
you know,
of the
from a,
injured
I guess from a
personnel
game
should be
design
beamed down
perspective,
within the hour.
he knows things that
I
you
think
don't
we
know
can
because
handle
he's a
it from
starship
here.
engineer and you're not.
By the way,
And
Dr. Greaves
you know, Jordy
personally
wouldn't
extends his
plug the wrong
gratitude.
thing in
He
because
felt he
he's a
owed you
good
and your
starship
crew an
engineer.
apology.
Yes.
Tell him we accept
Oh, I would
his
just love it
apology.
if it just slightly broke the 4th wall and went,
What are your orders, Captain?
no, that's a weird idea. I shouldn't do
Set
that.
course for
Or should
3,
I?
Warp 5.
Aye, sir.
Right,
I don't
off
want to
we
lick
go.
that.
At Warp 5, off we go.
So when I was playing, I went to Warp 9 and I hit like a singularity or something.
Oh, this is
There
the
we
end
go.
of the first episode.
Yes, sir.
So we'll continue the enticing singularity story when we come back. So I'll see all of you around the Chrono stream. Say hi, Joe.
Hi. Or maybe even bye.
Bye, yeah.